PRC, quality service since 1972. Repairing TVs, console stereos, electronic musical instruments, pinball machines, arcade games, and more. Call 836-0454.
This is James Spann with the afternoon edition of the Weather Xtreme video. This is for Thursday, the 26th of March. If you're new to this, we kind of take the weather pretty deep, go beyond what you see on television. And we are in a lull right now in a very active pattern. We still are looking at a major severe weather and flood threat in the days ahead. Let's look out the window this afternoon. Broken clouds. That's a view there coming from the Skycam on top of the Daniel Building in Birmingham, looking southeast out toward St. Vincent's Hospital and the Red Mountain Expressway. Pretty much the same sky down in Chilton County at Clanton, and the same thing up in Cullman County. That's a Skycam just east of downtown Cullman. Water vapor satellite shot showing the first batch of storms onto the east, but here comes that next deep trough digging down through the Rockies, and that's going to set the stage for a very volatile situation here. But it feels good. Temperatures are in the low 70s where the sun's shining. And I think tomorrow will be even warmer. I wouldn't be shocked if some folks approached 80 tomorrow, even though the guidance is not that warm. And because of the warmth, look at the instability tongue up in here. That's a surface-based cape of 500 joules up into southwest Shelby County around Montevallo, then back down toward Mobile. But the really high values are over southwestern Louisiana. The surface-based capes there over 3,000 joules. And with time, the instability values will build up again. And again, we could be sitting on a powder keg by tomorrow night and Saturday. Rest of today and tonight, a slight risk for a large chunk of eastern Texas, east Oklahoma, and then as far east as Tallahassee and Tifton, Georgia. The higher probabilities for tonight are near the Gulf Coast, where those high capes are. Houston, Lake Charles, New Orleans, Slidell, Biloxi. And you can see just very, very minor probabilities of severe weather up here tonight. But tomorrow, this will be the day to watch. The guys at HPC have thrown up a moderate risk now from Memphis down to Monroe, Louisiana. That includes all of the Mississippi Delta, a slight risk as far west as Tyler, Texas, and as far east as Macon, Georgia. The probabilities look like this tomorrow. The 45% area is in the moderate risk, and the 30% there runs from Birmingham over to Shreveport. And there's a chance that the guys at HPC could, or SPC, could really take that 30% area, make that the moderate risk, and make that 45% area a high risk tomorrow. Just be aware of that. Day 3, Saturday, a slight risk for all of Alabama in points east. And again, the higher probabilities are roughly from, Interstate 65 east. And this is after 6 o'clock Saturday morning. And again, I think we just have to open up an 18-hour window where we'll talk about a major severe weather threat. That's 6 o'clock tomorrow evening until noon Saturday, and maybe even a little beyond that near the Georgia border. So severe weather, one problem, flooding the other problem. Expected rain for the next 5 days. How about 9.5 inches at Fort Walton Beach? Goodness, around here, the amounts are closer to 3 inches. But remember now, we've already had 2 inches in many spots, so we're talking storm totals of 5 inches or perhaps more. And look at the watch warning map. Are you kidding me? We've got blizzard warnings for the Texas and Oklahoma panhandles, western Kansas, eastern Colorado, winter storm warnings for the mountains of Colorado. Down here, we've got flash flood watches for a large chunk of Mississippi, South Alabama, over into Georgia. And again, they'll fill that thing back in. We're just in this lull right now. So a dual threat continues and a whopper of a snowstorm out west. The GFS, the 12Z run at noon tomorrow. There's the 500 millibar chart, surface low near El Paso. And then Saturday, notice how that rotates on through with the shortwave trough going negative tilt as it approaches Alabama. That's the upper support, which is excellent for severe weather. Let's get down there and drill down to the surface. This is at noon tomorrow. Surface low at Dallas-Fort Worth. Weather here looks pretty wet on this run. One school of thought was that we might have rain tomorrow morning, and then the warm front pushes north, and we have a break, and the sun pops out, and we get up there in the low 80s. This is kind of suggesting it might rain all day, which would aggravate the flooding problem. Tomorrow night at midnight, the surface low is beginning to deepen, really around Little Rock, and the Gulf is wide open, and this is where we could see some discrete supercells involved. Really worried about that 6 p.m. to midnight, maybe 3 a.m. time frame in there. Saturday morning at 6 o'clock, the surface low barely drifting north. And again, we are in probably a pretty nasty rain, flood, squall line type thing at that point. And then at noon Saturday, the surface low is just not moving that much. And by golly, we're really still in a thunderstorm area for the eastern side of the state. By noon, the worst of the weather should be on east of I-65. And then by 6 o'clock, the worst of the weather's over into Georgia. The surface low moves out toward Indianapolis and deepens along the way. And look at the 0-degree line at 8:50 diving in behind that thing. And again, it's a big snow there for Chicago and St. Louis. Look at the instability values. This is Saturday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, this is off the NAM. But understand, this is suggesting this thing could go well into the day Saturday. So I know we're kind of talking 6 p.m. tomorrow evening until noon Saturday, but we might have to look at kind of extending that into Saturday afternoon. It's going to be a long night and a long day one way or the other. And then Sunday, it's all by. We're dry slotted and be a sunny and cooler day. Monday of next week, here comes the next storm. Very deep surface low at Omaha. And then Tuesday, a trough forms to the west, and at the surface, we've got that lead front getting in here, and we will mention a chance of showers and storms Tuesday, but Wednesday, that front kind of stalls out there in the Gulf Coast. We will be into drier air here, but the rain could continue for Mobile and Pensacola. And then the next day on Thursday, we've got a very strong trough axis off to the west and a deepening surface low again around Cape Girardeau, Missouri, with another severe weather threat, if this is right. That would be Thursday of next week, a week from today. So, as you can see, the parade of storm systems will continue, and it's very hard, nailing down details far in advance. But just be aware the pattern looks awfully active, and on the 5th of April, oh yeah, that's why I've been saying don't plant anything that will be harmed by a freeze, because that trough would bring freezing weather in here in flurries, if it's right. And this is voodoo, we all know that, but boy, it sure is possible. And on the 11th, another short wave, another storm system off to the west. No dull moments around here anytime soon. That's the screaming message. That's it for the Weather Xtreme video today. We'll have notes on the blog. The next video here by 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. And, of course, we invite you to watch us on television this evening, ABC 3340 in Birmingham at 5, 6, and 10. Again, thanks for watching. Have a wonderful evening, and God bless.